their smartphones are more likely to suffer from depression, anxiety, and insomnia. Dr. Nicola Cork at King's College in the UK says young people who are more addicted to their phones were twice as likely to report symptoms of anxiety and 3 times as likely to suffer from depression than those who did not.
Are subject to loss of control overuse, primacy of the smartphone in their lives, so that they're spending time on their smartphone in preference to other meaningful activities or sleep, that they continue doing this despite an awareness of the downside.
Meanwhile, researchers say screen time was not linked to anxiety or depression in older teenagers, but it was associated with insomnia. The research published in the British Medical Journal was carried out at a handful of schools in the UK between 2020 and 2022.
Thank you very much. That was Wang Zhuang with Headline News. Mr. Shane Bigham in the Chinese capital. Coming up in business, Asian shares closed lower, with Japan recording one of its worst declines ever. 37 past the hour now. Turning to business, stock markets on the Chinese mainland have ended the week with a decline. The shares related to precious metals and the breeding industry led the gainers. Those linked to the railway, traffic equipment, and robotics sectors suffered major losses. Timothy Pope reports.
Global investor attention was very much captured by the latest U.S. manufacturing data. It sparked a global market sell-off, and the Chinese mainland indices were no exception. We saw the Shanghai Composite Index down by about 0.9%. The Shenzhen component lost 1.4%. This U.S. manufacturing data was at an 8-month low and showed a sharp decline in new orders, and that really has stoked fears of an economic slowdown, driving the market slower, even though we hear noises from the U.S. Federal Reserve this week that there could be a rate cut in September. This week also saw some less than encouraging Chinese manufacturing data, with the official PMI sinking to a 5-month low. Chinese EV makers were definitely in brisk retreat, despite several of them reporting some pretty strong sales growth numbers this week. In Shenzhen, we saw BYD down almost 4%. Tech materials, energy, consumer stocks, all of those were lower in Shanghai and Shenzhen.
That was Timothy Pope reporting. The Hong Kong stock market also finished lower. The Hang Seng Index dropped nearly 2.1%. Now, Japan's Nikkei saw its largest one-day drop of the year and also the second largest in history. It also marked the largest drop in over 36 years since a plummet of 3,836 points on October 20th, 1987, the day after the Black Monday crash. The Nikkei was down over 2,200 points, or 5.8% from Thursday's close. China's